I am so excited to be here right now. You all just do not understand how excited I am. The bad thing about going last is I'm the only thing standing between you all and a night out, so I'll try to go first. I apologize in advance. But to be completely honest with you, this is honestly a dream come true to have me standing in front of you all. I remember being a senior here at Wittenberg and walking through the Career Center, looking up at the walls and be like, man, I would love to come back and address students and share my story. I see former teachers here, former classmates here. My mom is right there. Hey, Mom. And I'm telling y'all, I'm just bursting at the seams with the excitement of having a dream come true to stand in front of you guys today. So thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you for being here and listening to me talk and share my story. Hope you find something valuable in it. So, with that being said, I'm sure you guys are wondering, who the heck am I, right? I'm gonna tell you who I'm not. I'm not Gary Coleman, okay? Growing up, even coming to school here at Wittenberg, I was constantly teased. People saying, I look like Gary Coleman. Amanda said, did you send them your childhood picture? I was like, come on, man, I don't look like that. But I'm gonna start off by saying I'm not Gary Coleman. I'm not the reincarnated back from the dead version of Gary Coleman. I am Derrick Braziel. And I know I violated all the design standards out there by using Comic Sans, but I do what I want, and I'm sorry. I should also say, as a quick housekeeping thing, that I'm a millennial, like most of you all here, and I'm sure most of you guys also have cell phones. So you gotta pull it out and follow me. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. I'm all about the likes. Follow me, all right? I'm gonna remind you at the bottom, Derrick Braziel right there. Make sure I make that happen. So moving forward, my ties to Wittenberg, my ties to this community, it runs deep. My mom, she's from Springfield. She's a Springfield native. Her family is from Springfield. My father, on the left, he graduated from Wittenberg University. My brother Desmond, my twin brother Desmond, he also graduated from Wittenberg University. So being a part of this school here, being a part of this community that surrounds Wittenberg University is something that's incredibly important, not just to me, but to my family. But to build on that, this motto is something that ties each and every one of us together. Whether you're a student, whether you're faculty, whether you're an external part of the Wittenberg community, this motto, to me, means everything. Having light, we pass it on to others. And this is the framework that I'm going to use for this entire conversation. Because I firmly believe that it's not enough to be a great student here at Wittenberg. It's not enough to be a great athlete here at Wittenberg. It's not enough to be a great professor here at Wittenberg, because we have a call to action that is inherent in our very experience and our very presence here. We have to give back and have a responsibility to help other people along the way, because we have access to so many things here, whether it's this space here or our classroom space or whatever it is. We have a responsibility, or dare I say an obligation, to ensure that we're having everything that's given to us, we're passing on to other people. So I consulted with my boy Webster in the dictionary, and I looked up, what does it mean to have something? And this is the definition that he gave me, because we're homeboys. The definition of to have is to possess, own, or to hold. So I can hold my cell phone in my hand. There's something tangible that I can have. I want to talk about the intangible things that we can possess, own, or hold. An idea, a value, or a belief. These are the things that I think are most important that we can actually advance and move forward in our society. This is Martin Luther, the OG, right? In my opinion, the reason why we're even here in the first place. Martin Luther is a guy that I respect tremendously because he had an idea. He was a German priest, well-versed in the Catholic tradition and faith, but there was something within him that he was uncomfortable about. So what does he decide to do? He decides to confront, at that time, to be the world's strongest institution, the Catholic Church, right? He decides to turn the world on its head because he had an idea. He felt strongly about something, and he decided to do something about it. I think because of the standard that he set for everybody else, because of his example, we now have the Protestant Reformation, the Protestant faith. The world changed because one man decided to do something about it. And I think he influenced, the new G, Martin Luther King Jr. And I remember being in class and I read this quote and I was like, holy cow, what am I going to do with this? Dr. King says, cowardice asks the question, is it safe? Expediency asks the question, is it politic? Vanity asks the question, is it popular? But our conscience asks the question, is it right? And there comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular. But one must take it because one's conscience tells one that it is right. So let's take it all the way back to Martin Luther. His decision to confront the Catholic Church, was it safe? No. He was declared an outlaw by the Catholic Church. Was it politic or popular? Absolutely not. Dr. King, was it safe? He was assassinated. Was it politic or popular? It was at the time. But Dr. King decided that he had an idea, something that he owned and he possessed. And he went out and he made a difference. He decided to confront a system that had created structures that had injustice against an entire population of people. But he decided to do something about it. And for me, that was, I think, the very beginning of my own process of getting involved socially. But I think it really turned when I was a part of a Bible study that met in Post 95. And there was one day that I was reading through the book of Ecclesiastes, and I came across this Bible verse. It says, anyone who is among the living has hope. Even a live dog is better off than a dead lion. In my opinion, there's no argument against this. This is cut and dry. Anyone who is among the living has hope. Now, anyone includes a lot of people. That includes folks who have made mistakes. That includes folks who may look differently from us. That includes all of them. And each of them, according to this verse, has a hope. They have an opportunity to change their lives and to make a difference, not just for themselves, but for other people. And as soon as I read this verse, I was like, well, dang, I got to do something now. I have no choice now. And that is where I found my light. So let's discuss this part about what it means to have a light. This is where it all started in Cincinnati. So I live in Cincinnati, in my opinion, the greatest city on earth. I'm not biased. Thank you, whoever said that. I live in OTR, the coolest neighborhood on earth. And that guy sitting to my right is a Wittenberg graduate. His name is William Thomas. He's one of my best friends. William and I would go out in OTR. We'd go to the restaurants. We'd go to the bars. We'd experience OTR for everything that it could offer us as young professionals. However, we'd go to these restaurants and these bars and whatever, and the people who own these establishments did not look like the folks who had been in the community for years. And we had an issue with that. Because again, to go back to that verse, anyone among the living has a hope. So why won't these folks who have been in the community for years not also participating in the rejuvenation of their community? That was a question that we wrestled with. And I think because of the values instilled in us at Wittenberg University, we decided to do something about it. So there was this event at a brewery called Rheingeist, where you could essentially share your idea, but it was a vote-based competition. The people who brought the most votes essentially won. William and I didn't get that memo. We brought like 5 people. I brought a friend, he brought his parents and his sister. It looked all bad from the beginning. But needless to say, we shared our idea. We took a leap of faith. Next thing we know, we won, right? And it was an incredible experience for us. And I think after we took that initial step, the world responded. After that, articles were being written about us. This is the first article that was ever written about what we're trying to do in Cincinnati. And I think it all goes back again to this Bible verse. We believe that there are people who live in our community who have all the talent in the world. They can run businesses, they can create an invention, they can do whatever that they set their mind to, but all they need is an opportunity to accomplish that dream, to have an opportunity to achieve that mission, to advance that cause. But currently, that opportunity does not exist. And we would have conversations with folks and say, hey, this is a good idea, maybe you should do something about it. But every single time we would have that conversation, nobody would do anything about it. So we decided to do something. And now, like I said, the world has started to respond. And the articles have continued and continued and continued to come. And then people are like, well, Derrick, what do you think about things? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just a regular guy. People ask me to give my opinions in interviews. People are writing about me in the newspaper. People are asking for my opinion in the Cincinnati Enquirer. Again, am I anything special? I don't think so. I think I'm just dumb enough to actually take a step and actually try to make a difference in my community. I think as a result of that, people have taken notice. I think for a lot of you guys, the same thing will also make a difference. You have to take that first step. And then, next thing we know, we're in Cincinnati Magazine. That's me right there, with William to my left. They recognize us as people to watch. For whatever reason, there we are. But I think the most important thing that we did is we took the first step. Now that's Rafiki. And Rafiki is one of my other homeboys. I have him up here for a couple reasons. One, because I want you all to know, y'all a little young, but The Lion King is the greatest movie of all time. Hands down, no questions asked, greatest movie ever. Second thing is, Rafiki has this great quote as he counsels Simba. He says, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step." Again, can't argue against that. Now this experience that we've had in Cincinnati, I can show you all these newspaper articles, I can show you Cincinnati Magazine, I can say a lot of things to you. But this journey has been hard. It continues to be hard, it's a struggle every single day. So we can get up here and say, get out there and try to change the world. Follow your dreams, but know that that path that you choose to take is going to be hard. There are people out there who live to criticize, that live to doubt, that live to poke holes in your arguments, but you cannot quit, you cannot give up. Because again, this is the obligation that we have as representatives of this crest and this motto, to pass it on to other people. So that's what we do, we pass it on. This guy is Malcolm Gladwell. Y'all know Malcolm Gladwell, anybody? Y'all can answer these questions. Malcolm Gladwell is like my hero. He's like my baby daddy. Malcolm Gladwell is the man. I think Malcolm Gladwell is one of the greatest authors of our generation. Personally, I'm also biased. Malcolm Gladwell wrote a really great book called The Tipping Point. And in The Tipping Point, he talks about the nature of mass movements, how mass movements over time have been engineered. And one of the common themes, one of the common denominators is the idea of teamwork, right? So this is the dream team. Again, you guys may be too young for that, but this is the dream team. These are 5 of not only the best basketball players of their time, but arguably 5 of the best athletes of their time. And these guys had to come together and do 3 things. 1, they checked all their egos at the door. They didn't say, well, I was an all-star last year, I'm not going to pass the ball to this guy. It didn't matter to them. The second thing they did is they figured out the best way for them to work together by harnessing and utilizing their strengths and coming together as a team. The third thing they did is they made their goal the most important thing to them, winning an Olympic gold medal. That was the #1 thing, and everything else came secondary. And this is a microcosm of something much larger than that. When we're talking about mass movements, you'll see whether it's the Protestant Reformation, the Enlightenment, the Industrial Revolution, the Harlem Renaissance. There's a common thread that connects all of them. And that's you have a series of actors that come together. They're hanging out, they're having drinks together, they're sharing ideas, they're trusting each other, and they're figuring out ways to work together to advance a common cause. These guys, on a very micro level, figured that out, and throughout time, the same thing has been applicable. And at Wittenberg, right now, you guys have the same opportunity. There's no safer space than you have right now to test, to pivot, to figure things out, to understand that you have a whole series of people behind you, supporting you, having your back, who want to see you be successful. That even though I've been graduated for years, they're going to come back and support me, give an opportunity to speak to you guys. You guys have that support system. I found one of my co-founders at Wittenberg University. A guy like Mark Zuckerberg finds his co-founder in college. You guys have the same ability here to find the folks you can work with, you can build something with, and change the world. Now, I want to let you guys know this story. 2 gentlemen up on the screen. I'll give someone $1 who has not read Malcolm Gladwell, if they can tell me who the guy on the left is. Keep that $1, let's go. The guy on the left is a guy named William Dawes. The guy on the right is Paul Revere. I bet everybody in this room knows who Paul Revere is. Paul Revere, look at the difference in these pictures. Paul Revere looks swaggy, he got the little silver thing in his hand, where William Dawes just got the old stale hand in my vest pose. Would you believe that Paul Revere was not alone in the infamous midnight ride? to alert New England that the British were coming. Paul Revere had a partner, and that man was William Dawes. The question is, why do we remember Paul Revere, but history forgets William Dawes? They had two different strategies. Paul Revere, influential, charismatic, he knew people, he knew the right folks to reach out to spread the message far and wide. Well, William Dawes, he had another way of doing things. He was much more pragmatic, grassroots, door to door. Each of them had a role, and each of them, I think, played the roles very well, but we remember one and not the other. This is important because each of us also has a role. And I think in the age of social media, all of us want to be Paul Revere. All of us want to have our names and our faces out there. But that does not diminish the work of William Dawes. Because without William Dawes, who knows what would have happened? We don't know. History could be completely different if not for the work of William Dawes. So the important thing I want to share now is it's important that each of us, again, if we're on a team, we know our role and we stay in that role and we trust our partners to also do what they're going to do, but not try to vie for credit. It's not about getting the credit, it's about the goal. It's about that goal being accomplished. So the final part is others. What does that mean to be an other? This is a picture of a shoe. Pretty straightforward, right? I have this picture up here because of something that we have, all of us in this room have, called the PreMental cognitive commitment. The PreMental cognitive commitment would say, this is a shoe, I put it on, I go to the store, I come home, and I take it off. It's something to give my feet comfort as I go from point A to point B and back to point A. However, the challenge in this is we are basing our judgment of what this is based upon our prejudice of how we've used it in the past. This shoe has at least 16 other uses. Let's say you have a piece of paper that keeps flying away. Paperweight. Let's say you have a door that keeps swinging open. Door stopper. Let's say you get a bottle of wine, don't have a bottle opener. Bottle opener. That was a free piece of advice. Let's say you're walking down the street and you feel threatened. Weapon. Right? The PreMental cognitive commitment limits our abilities to see things for more than what they are. This is an example of a shoe. Let me tell you an example of a person. This is Dana. And Dana is one of my inspirations. Last year, Dana came to MORTAR because she had an idea, something that she held. Dana wanted to open a Jamaican, vegan, vegetarian fusion restaurant. It's a lot, 10. But Dana had also been homeless. She didn't have a home, didn't have two pennies to rub together, but she had an idea, and she had a vision, and she wanted to do something about it. The PreMental cognitive commitment would say, what value can Dana add? She's homeless. What value can Dana add? She's already made mistakes. Let's choose somebody else who doesn't have those flaws in their past and look over her and her abilities. Through 9 weeks, Dana was in class, she cooked for us, she was passionate about her work, and 2 weeks ago, this woman who was homeless a year ago opened a restaurant at Finley Market, which is the oldest market in Ohio. It's a remarkable story. It's a remarkable story. We have another guy in our class now. He was in prison for 6 years. He was a gang leader of the OTR boys. He sold heroin, but he's in our class every single week. He's busting his tail because he wants to turn his life around. And guess what's going to happen? His boys who are still out there, they're going to see him. They're going to say, Donovan, what are you doing? And he's going to tell them, I'm turning my life around. And then we start a ripple effect of other people knowing that there is a possibility for you to change your life. And this is just one example of that. So this is unacceptable here. I believe this PreMental cognitive commitment prohibits us from making real, genuine relationships with other people. This is a graph that was in the Washington Post. The top of the graph shows that the average white American has one black friend for every 100 friends that they have. The lower part says that we have, African Americans have 8 white friends for every 100 friends that we have. I think this is unacceptable. This makes me sick, to be honest with you. I think what this is a reflection of an American culture that judges books by its cover, that feels comfortable with our premature cognitive commitments and limits ourselves from going out and having conversations and meeting with people and sharing ideas with people who look different from us, who may have different ideas, or may confront some of our own prejudices. And as a result of that, with all of the issues we have in our world, whether it's poverty, whether it's global warming, whether it's gridlock in our nation's capital, we will continue to fight these huge systemic problems with the same level of thinking if we continue to operate this way, right? So my challenge for you all is to understand that this is the average right here. This is what exists. And if we want to be a part of the change, what we see in our country and the world, we cannot continue to operate this way. We have to, I think, have some courage to have hard conversations, to open our doors and invite people in who look differently from us, who think differently from us, who may make us look stupid. But again, I'm going to keep going back to this. The goal is the most important thing, it's not our egos. So I'm going to wrap things up. Having each of you in this room and outside of this room, you have something inside of us. Maybe you haven't identified what it is yet, but you have a responsibility to share whatever that idea or passion is with the world. You do us no good if you keep it inside yourself. There's this great poem that I love. It says, you do us no justice by playing small, right? The world receives nothing if you decide to continue playing small. The second part is your light. Once you find your light, your idea, despite how dark it might be around you, you have an obligation to continue to keep that light shining, to ensure that you can pass that on, this next part, to others. Remembering that teamwork makes the dream work, right? And you have to share your idea. You have to be vulnerable. You have to let others in and allow them to help you out. Because ultimately, diversity is critical to the future. And if we don't confront our prejudices about who the other is, as I said before, I don't think we have any shot at addressing some of these huge issues that we have in front of us right now. So that being said, thank you for having me. My freshman me says hello. And thank you for the opportunity.